about 12 days since the rapture happened. It has not been a pretty sight. The thing I heard before the rapture happened, that thing that was going all around the internet, that called the dark waking up, or the black awakening, or something like that. It's true. So many young people that were left behind. So many children left behind. Satan and the world, they did a good job in lowering the age of accountability so that children wanted to dress like adults, act like adults, dance like adults, be like adults. And most of those kids, most of those children, most of those children are gone. They've been shot. They've been killed by the Nephilim, the demons, during the first 3 days. I've heard stories. I didn't see so much of it here in Kingston, but we're just a small town. But the stories that I've heard over the past 10 days especially, in the big city, it was just awful. So many kids who grew up too fast before the rapture. And they chose to reach the age of accountability before they should have. And they were left behind, and most of them were slaughtered, just like everybody else. All the mill cops out there, they were just driving through the streets and just shooting anyone they could. And all those teenagers, all those young adults, all those people who had been controlled, who had been brainwashed, who had been given a demon, who had been broken down since childhood. They have the black eyes. There's no whites in their eyes. They're just totally demon-possessed, and those were the ones wandering the streets, shooting anybody they could. Some of them had a specific target, but most of them were just programmed to depopulate as much as they could. And they did. But now, I've been hearing even worse stories too. Now the believers in the big cities were being rounded up. And I'm sure it'll happen here in the small towns too. Eventually they'll come around. They'll come around to round us up. And either we'll be slaughtered right there on the spot, or we'll be taken to one of those camps, those re-education camps, those re-education centers, whatever they're calling them. All the Christians, all the lazy Christians before the rapture, the ones who knew the word but didn't practice it, the ones who read the Bible but were just hearers of the words only and not doers of the words, the ones who only knew of the Lord but didn't know him personally. They couldn't call him friend. They weren't friends of God, and it stopped outside. They usually put out an ultra low wave. It's just, oh, this world is just awful. There's so much we knew about before the rapture, but there was only so much we could say. I'm thankful that I was one of the volunteers that asked to stay behind, because I knew my friends and the neighbors around me, they'd be left behind and they would need someone to help guide them. They thought I was crazy, saying that you're going to have to give up your life by having your head chopped off, but now the time has come. So they're either going to have to give up their life for the Lord on the spot, or wait it out in the camps. This is something that I've asked many people to pray for before the rapture happened. I asked so many believers to help pray for those who are left behind. Because even though in the end they're going to be given some of the greatest rewards the Lord could ever bestow on anyone, because they will suffer so much during the tribulation time. They will endure so much that at the end, when they get their rewards, when they finally leave this world, the Lord will reward them with more treasures than they could possibly imagine. And some of them have faced their time of death. It's not even a full 2 weeks since the rapture happened, and so many of them have been tortured. They've been burned alive. They've been had their heads chopped off there in the streets. They've been cut up. It's just a horrible time. But I know, based on what I've heard, because some of them, they just end up singing prayers and hymns to the Lord, because they know that an immediate departure from death means an immediate presence with the Lord. And so they're not afraid of death. But I pray for those that are to come, and will continue to pray. And I remember the same prayer even before the rapture that I would ask other believers, that just pray for those who are left behind, because they got to face so much. They've got to deal with so many hardships, so many struggles, physical brutality, mental anguish, torture. But as horrible as those times are, and will be in the few years ahead that are left, we know that, like in the days of Noah, the Lord is showing his miracles everywhere. I've been getting dreams to be able to multiply food, and I'm sure when the time comes, I'll be able to do that with the Lord's grace and the Lord's blessing. But as in the times, as the Old Testament has shown us, the Lord can intercede with the physical presence of his servants, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego standing in the midst of the fire. The flames were burning hot, but they didn't feel anything. The Lord was able to suspend their nerve endings, to interfere with the physical dynamics of their body, so that the quantum nature of fire didn't affect the quantum nature of their physical being, and they didn't feel any pain. And I believe the same is possible for the saints that are left in the tribulation, those who were left behind, that they will also experience the miracles of the Lord, and that they can endure the suffering that they'll be going through. So I trust that the prayers that we prayed for those left behind before the rapture happened, that those prayers will still hold up. Now that the rapture is past and those lazy Christians finally got it in their heads, finally got it in their hearts that the Bible prophecy is real, that the Lord is real, that everything he said in the Bible was going to happen. Like he said, he told the end right from the beginning. He's a God that exists outside of time. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow are all present time for him. And here in the tribulation, he's with us, and he can see the struggles that we're going through. But at the same time, he can also see us in our glorified states after the rapture, after the tribulation, after the apocalypse, during the time of the 1,000 years of peace. He's there with us, enjoying our time we have in heaven, our time we have on the new earth that is to come, Jesus' kingdom. And I know he's with us now. And I will just continue to pray for my fellow servants out there in the Lord, out there in the world, out there, especially in the big city, that they're going to go through so many problems, so many tribulations, and so much pain. But I know they'll endure, because I know that the Lord is good, and he will have mercy on them. And if it's his will to rebuild their molecular nature, their atomic structure, so that their nerve endings can withstand the pain that comes from torture, that withstand the pain that comes from burning flames, the pain that comes from bullets and knives and swords, the pain that they will have to endure during the tribulation. They will overcome. And I pray, and for you that are listening and watching this, I pray that you call upon the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, because he's the only one that can help you out of tribulation right now. We're stuck here until the time comes for our bodies to give up the spirit. And once our bodies have died, our spirits, our souls, they go to be with the Lord forevermore, where there's joy and life is so much better than it is now. So whoever finds this video recording, just call upon the name of the Lord Jesus, and you'll be saved from this horrible tribulation that we're in. The last 7 years of this world. The worst 7 years. And it'll never happen again. Once the tribulation is over, and once Armageddon and the apocalypse has come about, Satan will be bound, and throughout the 1,000 years of peace, he won't be there to tempt anyone or to mislead humanity. Jesus, in 1,000 years, will show that he can do so much more with mankind and technology than Satan ever could in the 6,000 years that he had control. As hard as these next few days or years or weeks are going to be for my friends and family around here, I know that as soon as we die, we're going to be with the Lord and things will be much better. So that's it. Wherever you are, just call out on the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and you will be saved.